So at the end of the first segment, that we see that we have received the result of the OFDM simulation as Lena underscore OFDM, which has just been created. And if we were to download this image at 12:34, which would be the current time, we can see that this is the image for BPSK and 5dB, which is similar to what we retrieved in the presentation at a given time. Now, if we were to compare this to the OFDM for the QPSK model, we will see that for the same signal to noise ratio, we will see that we will see a higher level of errors as per the presentation, due to the fact that we have a higher symbol size, which contributes to a greater number of errors and an increase in which causes an increase in the overall number of errors. Which, if we were to now look at, we can see that there is a greater number of errors as opposed to the BPSK model, which is attributing to the higher symbol size, lower phase difference, and hence greater possibility of there being bit error rates. However, the contribution or the advantage of having this model is that it is faster in terms of the data rate as opposed to the regular BPSK model, which contributes a trade-off that even for the same signal-to-noise ratio, which we can perceive as a certain level of quality which would be required, we can attribute that we would have a significant increase in the data rate, which would be a trade-off depending on the quality of service required. If we were to run the test one more time for the highest modulation scheme at the same, if we were to run it for the same modulation scheme at, we see the difference in the speed in transmission, and if we were to demodulate it, we see the difference in the completion time of the algorithm for a higher modulation scheme. Now, if we were to observe the quality of the image for the highest modulation scheme, we would see that there would be a significant number of errors. However, the trade-off is that the algorithm has completed it in a much faster period of time. So here we can see the trade-off for the OFDM system for a given bit error rate and for a given SNR, such that if we were to use a higher modulation scheme, we would have a higher data rate, but the drawback is that we would have a higher number of errors, which for grayscale images would be acceptable, as the difference in bits would contribute to a very few differences in gray levels, which would contribute to a very minimal difference. However, the same cannot be said for images which are in RGB form, as it would result in dramatically different values, and so it would not be as optimal for an RGB image. However, for a grayscale image, it would work effectively. So, as I've illustrated, the successful implementation and verification of the system functionality has been achieved. Individual models were designed in MATLAB, and OFDM provides us with a very attractive option in terms of multi-carrier system. And we have the trade-off in system parameters and characteristics involving the transmission and reception for suitable quality of service for a given data rate. The future work would be to implement further modulation schemes of a higher caliber, like the quadrature amplitude modulation, which would attribute satisfactory performance at a significantly good data rate, and to see how it would impact the level of performance on the image. Thank you very much. I hope I have carried out the requirements as per the project guidelines successfully, and I hope I have achieved everything that is required. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.